Howdy folks, I am the Brandish Nail and thanks for joining me today. Today is going to be something considerably different than what my standard video is. Recently I have rediscovered an old hobby and discovering a completely new one in the process. The old hobby that I've rediscovered is collecting tarantulas. It was something I used to be fascinated with back in my youth, but everyone I knew at that time was not really supportive of it, or I didn't have anyone I could really share this passion with. But recently, I have met somebody that I have become good friends with who is sharing this passion with me. And having that around has really helped reawaken this love of mine. Now, I'm doing this video freehand right now, just with my cell phone, but I just really wanted to share what was going on and what I'm doing with this, just to see if anyone likes this, if this is something that gets popular. If anyone likes what I'm doing here, just let me know. I'll try to do some better editing, maybe get some equipment, have a set up camera, something like that. If this also becomes a hobby, doing this, because it's always fun sharing what you have with people. Anyway, just let me know in the comments if you want me to do more of this, and if so, then I sure will. And I may not be the best out there, but I'll do my best for y'all. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started with the very first thing that I created. This was a few weeks ago. I decided I was going to get a Tanzanian tailless whip scorpion. Let me go ahead and come in here, a little bit of room. This right here is a bioactive terrarium. You notice each one of these has a gravel bottom. That's a false bottom on there to separate and allow for water drainage. And inside the soil is living organisms like springtails and isopods. So they help keep everything clean, free of mold, and keeps it active, bioactive. All I have to do is add water. You can see here I got some really nice ferns. They've been growing really nicely in there. There's this plant in the back. It's got a red bottom and a green top, kind of wrinkly. I'm not sure what that is. I'd really like to know. Let me get my pointing brush here. Also, I'm not quite sure what this is either, but this one's really been doing good. I just picked these up. I know back here this is a bromeliad that's in the very back, and it'll shoot up a flower eventually back there. But where's the critter? Alright, so I don't know if you can see it, but right back there, do you see that little arm? That is a tailless whip scorpion. Let's see if I can get in here for a little bit of a better shot. Let's see. It's really hard to see this little one back here because it blends in so well. There we go. You should be able to see his body. He blends in so good with the bark back there, and he doesn't really like to be out and about and seen during the day. So I'm going to go ahead and just let him hide, and we'll just leave him be. But I also got a soft blanket of moss in here that I use to make this really moist. They like humidity. It helps keep the humidity controlled. Speaking of which, I do need to add a little bit of water, so I will go ahead and do so right now. And there we go. Nice little bath. And that's all done. And then you just go right back there against the wall. Alright, so there's that one. Now, this tank, just so it's known, I never really named this tank. I did name the other tanks that I created. But this one don't have a name. So if you have a suggestion, just a nice little tropical setting for my beautiful little tailless whip scorpion, fascinating creature. Someday I'll do a video on him whenever I have him out and about. But the next one up here, this is Green Cloud. Before I do this, I'm going to pause and I'm going to do some light setup here so that we can see this a little bit better. So I'll be right back. Okay, we are back and we are recording. Alright, so the first one I want to introduce you to is, this is Green Cloud. I named it, let me go ahead and take the lid off this so you can see it a little bit better. Just want to be careful not to startle the inhabitant. This right here is Green Cloud. In Green Cloud lives my Chromatopelma. I'm still getting used to the Latin terms. Cyganeo, or hold on. Cyanopubescens. I think I got it right. It's the green bottle blue for the common name. So she's just a little sling, tiny little one there. This is her home. She's kind of made her little home over there on that little area. As time goes by, she'll web that up a lot thicker, and they're known for making some really, really beautiful webs. Eager to see what she does with this. But again, it's got springtails and isopods living in the soil. That helps keep everything alive and healthy. And down there, any kind of waste, any kind of dead matter, they'll be there to eat up the mold and keep it looking good. So I'm pretty happy with the way this one here turned out. Again, that's Green Cloud. Next up is Ardent Bluff. Ardent Bluff is designed with basically a bluff up there at the top of it with a little tuft of moss. You can kind of see it from the, well, there's a good shot of it. I made some nice little areas for dens just in case the spider wanted to have a nice little hide. And again, nice little mosses. And I'm trying this one with grass. I'm not really too fond of using grass. It just doesn't look the way I want it to look. So a lot of this I'm just scavenging from the local lawn or whatever I can find. But I think I'm getting better at doing these, especially based on what I have to work with. Sooner or later, maybe I'll get some actual materials, order some stuff like some special plants and grasses, and see what I can do there. If anyone's got any suggestions, let me know. Go ahead and take a peek inside. Now, this is my orange baboon tarantula, OBT. OBT also stands for orange bitey thing. These things are pretty aggressive. It's Tarantula murinus, and I'll go ahead and open it up because he's in his den and I'm not going to be messing with him. But if you look really close right there in the center, you can see the feet sticking out. I'm still calling this one he, even though I don't know quite yet if it's going to be a male or female. But that's the opening to its den, and there's an emergency exit in the back, and that's where it spends most of its time. But again, a little bluff of moss on top of that. I really like the way this one turned out. Next up, this is Boulder Hollows. I really like Boulder Hollows. It's got my Grammostola pulchra in it. This is a black, Brazilian black. just recently had a molt, so he's just chilling in there. Or that's a she. I know for now it's a female. I'll get a video of her whenever she's out and about because she's very active. Usually she's perched up on her rocks or up on this little piece of moss. She really does like it in there. But this is one of the first ones that I did, and I'm not quite happy with the grasses there. I mean, it does give it a nice natural look, but I think I could have done better with this design. Although you can see where she has dug up some soil and packed it around the opening, so she's really making that her den, and I think she likes it. I'm really hoping she does. She's eating good. She just like I said, just molt this morning, so she's gonna be sitting in there where she's nice and safe until she hardens up and she's ready to come out and explore again. Usually she's all over this little thing. Now keep in mind, these are not permanent enclosures for these. These are all very, very, very young slings, and a lot of times in the industry, most of the time, and it's not a bad thing, they're kept in pill bottles, really small containers. But that's just because of their size. You need to know that they're okay, and you can see for a tiny little bitty baby how easy it could get lost in this. So I would only recommend a larger size sling, maybe about 3/4 of an inch, depending on how big the enclosure. You're going to see one of my smallest slings and how I deal with that one. But the next one I wanted to show off, this one is my LP. It is a bird eater, a salmon pink bird eater to be precise. This is one of my favorite little ones. I named this one Green Meadows, or I'm sorry, Green Valley, because I kind of like how it's got the valley look between there with the moss feature. There's plenty of little hides for that little one to hide in, like it could get in under there, and under there, and then it can burrow in over there. But I think it spends most of its time out here, but if I look really close, now that I see it, is that a molt? Did she, it, he, was that a molt? I think we may have just discovered a molt. Let me grab my tweezers and we're gonna find out really quick. Didn't see it until this light was shining right down in there. Are these tweezers going to be able to reach? Nope, not a molt. Not a molt. I know what that is now. If you look really close, I use gravel in the very bottom, and then I use this vinyl mesh. Now that vinyl mesh is very special because it's made to where if they burrow down deep, they won't get their toenails hooked and caught on it. It's going to be that's a very good thing to use as the separator and divider between the dirt and the false bottom. So that's what happened. This one here, when it probably burrowed, or maybe when I poked the hole, maybe I went all the way to the bottom and just didn't leave it shallow enough. Anyway, doesn't really matter because I don't think I've ever seen this little bird eater, and imagine that little tiny thing is going to be a big old bird eating monster. Not that they really eat birds, but anyway, once again, I really love these little mosses, the way they have the little textured leaves. And there's one little one that I put right there in the corner. It gives a really nice little bit of flavor and texture. And again, like them all, they have springtails and isopods in the soil. Keeps it nice and healthy. So all I have to do is daily take an eyedropper, drop water in there, and good to go. Now this next environment is not really a bioactive per se. It is a little bit different because what it houses does take a little bit of unique care. Right here, these are desert dwellers. These I gotta show caution with. Thing 1 and thing 2. Alright? These are both Deathstalker scorpions. They are one of the, if not the most deadly scorpion in the world. I'm not sure exactly what the ranking is. I've heard both ways. Now, each one of these has their own kind of attitude. And one of them, and this is why I would, like I said, this is an old hobby I've had before, so this is not my first time with scorpions. I would not advise one of these for an inexperienced keeper because sometimes they can be a handful, as you're about ready to see. Now, one, I never stick my fingers deep down in there, except for maybe to pick up a little piece of cork bark, because I know what their behavior is. But again, I am exercising extreme caution. Catch cups ready. The good thing is they can't crawl up the sides, so they're stuck down on there. As long as my fingers aren't within their reach, I'll be fine, and that'll only happen if I'm stupid. So first of all, go ahead and expose this little one. There we go. So that right there is a tiny little Deathstalker. They'll get a little bit bigger. I can't quite remember the full size. I think it's about 2 inches, maybe 1.5 inches. They don't get huge. They got really fine pinchers and a tiny little bulb on the end of its bum and tail. It's cute. But right now it's like, just put it back. Put it back. I'm asleep. Okay, little buddy, I'm gonna put it back. So you see, that one was pretty mellow. Very mellow. Thing 2 has always been a good one. Thing 1, on the other hand, wants to eat my face. Let's go ahead and show you thing 1. Boom, and there he is. And there he goes. When he's like, oh shit, I'm out, he gets a little bit antsy. You can see his tail's up. He's ready. It's just the water dish. I really like this one, but you know, you can see he really wants to hide again. Such a cutie though. And it's time to feed you guys tonight too. No, that's tomorrow night. Tomorrow night's on your feeding schedule. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and give you your hide back. Thank you for being good and showing everyone how cool you look and everything. You just gently, it's your home. I'm just putting it back. I'm your friend. Okay. Okay. Now, the next one I want to show off. Screw the Latin terms right now. Some people say you're not a real hobbyist unless you memorize them all. Well, you know what? I don't care. This is my little pumpkin patch. Now, this is the youngest one I have. So let's go ahead and take a look at her. A lot of people think, why would you keep a live animal in something like this? You'll see here in just a second. Get this lid off. And there's a little piece of cork bark right there. Try to get my phone and lift this off. Do you see her? This is a tiny one. I'm going to use my brush and see if I can scooch her out so we can get a better look at her. Oh, stop giving me the threat posture. You're not that big and bad. There she is. It. Why do I always call him she or he when I have no idea? There. In focus, finally. Thank you, phone. Anyway, that's a pumpkin patch. Gonna get bigger, and they have these beautiful orange colorings on their abdomen. You can see a small pattern on the abdomen right now, but she's just so tiny. You know, here's my finger as a comparison to how big she is. Hope I'm not offending anyone by misgendering. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and put her little piece of cork back. I tend to think of her as a girl. She's got a big butt, so she probably is a girl. No offense, but spiders with big butts tend to be girls. Anyway, that is my collection so far. Let me go ahead and pause for just 1 second. Actually, I can do this while I'm on. I'm just gonna, whoops, get my light put back. Where it belongs. Boom. And that lighting right there is ample lighting. It goes through day and night cycles to keep everything looking nice. And if I ever have to buy a spotlight, I'll probably go ahead and do that. But anyway, these have been my nights lately. Either creating something new like this. Ooh, that was a cool effect. Let's see if it does anything. Ooh. That was cool. I don't know if you guys saw that, but that was cool. Anyway, I've been spending my nights like this, either creating something or just sitting there watching my newfound hobby or my old found hobby going about its life in my newfound hobby. But if you like what you see, please let me know. Give me a like, and I will definitely do more of these videos as I create more. Because I am planning on doing bigger, better, and better. Eventually, this big boy is going to be on my list. And then, after that point, we're going to have this big boy over here is going to be on my list of things to do. So I'm really looking forward to doing this as a hobby. Maybe even make a business out of it, creating the environments. So many things I can do with this, and I'm looking forward to sharing this with anyone who gives a shit and maybe wants to watch. So until then, as always, Gihi Gugmatika. We may be forever apart, we may be half a world apart, but we're always together in our heart. Until next time, this is Brandon Snail, and take care of yourselves, partners.